But then as, if they don't challenge it, you also know that you can start to rotate around and take that whole bottom half of the map and box them in. And so this kind of read out of the defense makes it really hard for the offense to get a good foothold everywhere if the defense can constantly rotate around without having to guess. Now, we are going to go into our first battle. Lineups have come in. Dare Rising, 50B, 2 Type 5s, 2 5As, a Bad Chat, and an E3. Meanwhile, Aquatic M60s, 2 50Bs, an IS-7, 2 Mice, 5A, and a Bad Chat of their own. Mr. Man had a great day on Tuesday in the Bad Chat on Himmelsdorf, so we'll have to see if he's able to keep that up.
Yep. It's all about getting into the backfield and just causing as much chaos as you can, without, of course, causing just enough that they'll actually come after you. Ideally, you'll just kind of mess with your opponent. The rest of your team will be able to support you. But that's the big question. If you can get that, if you can get Mr. Man in there, and then not leave him out to dry.
So overall, though, it looks like M60s are going to go ahead and go for that one-line play. And a couple tanks for Dare are going to go towards the hill. It looks like their Bat Chat and their E3 going to go ahead and chug along up there. And the double Type 5 setup out of Dare Rising. Biggest concern there is the lack of flexibility on offense. In my opinion, to be successful in this map, you need to be able to flex around to both sides. You need to really make the defense move. And I don't know that these Type 5s really allow them to do that. Trying to rotate up the hill, if they try to do that, that's going to take 3-4 minutes from where they're at right now.
Yeah.
So it's just definitely something to keep an eye on, because that's really going to slow things down. So that means they really have to commit to whatever it is they're doing.
Oh, nice shot. You jumped to 1, 2, 3 just in time to feel my potato.
Yeah. I was able to snake that one right through that little gap. Got his tank up just high enough to get the shot.
I always like watching my 1, 2, 3 is formerly known as my Little Putin. So those of you who are fans from last season might have forgotten that he decided a simpler name was more appropriate. I don't know why, but you know what? I don't understand. It's just quality.
Yeah, and that's going to be these Type 5s coming towards this one line right now. And both teams, even the defense holding down on the one line, and the offense knowing that that's where a majority of the tanks are going to be. Now, they do have the Bat Chat all the way over towards B0 poking around, so trying to get the spots. He does find Marsh, but he's not spotted in return, so he's actually going to peek again to try to keep eyes on him.
Wait, did he spot Marsh? That was, it seemed weird the way, it might have just been a little bit lag. I was almost like, wait, did someone else get that?
If it was anyone else, the only tank it possibly could have been was the 5A at G6. Looks like Bird.
That would make some sense. Nationwide, one I'm
but
following.
I don't think he actually has the angle from there, though.
He shouldn't. He shouldn't have the angle. That's
why I'm pretty sure it was the Bat Chat.
Okay.
I didn't see exactly what happened, but Aggressor actually getting spotted when they're making this rotation. So now it's going to allow Aquatic M60s to respawn and kind of rotate their tanks around. Only the one mouse in the north for M60s.
Yeah, they're going to feel comfortable leaving him behind. But look at Felix. He's going to take a minute to try and get into position, all the way up at 8-2, where he's just going to kind of hold back. Just chill out for a minute. These are the positions that always kind of frustrate me, because you feel like you want that 50B to be in a more forward position, doing something quote-unquote useful, right? But the potential downfall is, of course, he might be the one that's caught out and in a position where honestly you should have had a mouse or a Type 5.
Right. And it's going to be Aquatic M60s just holding this one line again. And look at how dug in they are. They have that IS-7 all the way up to H2 right there on the corner. 50B even further past him. Another 50B at F1 right there where the Aggressor's looking for the shot.
Aggressor really wanted that shot onto Pupil.
But look at the D line right now. Look at all those tanks cruising on through there. At the same time, the Bat Chat commits up north. And now they are going to stop short of the 5 line. I wondered if they were going to push right in there, but they're going to go ahead and go up towards the cap right there. And I'm going to hold down this D line with the E3 on Overwatch. And it's just going to be probably the Bat Chat and the 50B that start that cap pressure. 50B is going to hold that inside angle with Bat Chat's on cap. E3 is going to rotate over towards B0 to really punish that. And it's just going to be these 2 Type 5s alone in the south. I'm not a big fan of 2 Type 5s by themselves because that's, 2 big guns. If they don't pen, that's, maybe 900 or 1,000 damage they pop off, and then it's 15 seconds of nothing. And the other team, if they're flexible enough, can really, really punish those Type 5s in that time.
Yeah, in a lineup like this, the 250Bs, the Bat Chat in there, and against 2 mouse. I mean, that's IS-7 5A in the mix, yeah. Not a bad DPM team.
Yeah,
so
now, well, I disagree with the tank choice. Look at overall the positioning out there. It is very strong. They have that cap pressure going. They have the 50B covering him along with the E3. And then they have the rest of the tanks just sitting here on the 8 line and D line where they can really just kind of hold this south end, which is where a lot of teams are. I was talking earlier about why the 1 line's so strong, and that's because you can get in behind so quickly from down there. You can take control of this G line and really box them in up against this cap, which means in turn you can then get the resets and you have the crossfires you can hold. And that's what M60s are going to try to do. They're going to try to rotate around, but there's so many tanks here that when they do come around, those Type 5s are just going to be able to load shots into the front of those tanks, especially if it's the 50Bs that try to come up that 8 line for aquatic M60s.
And you're going to see everything from aquatic begin to just kind of press in from all directions. You see Type 5s. Oh, hey, look at this. Type 5s are actually going to go all the way north. This is a strange route to take, actually. It covers a lot. It covers the south. It also covers across cap. But
it's going to be a second tank on the cap. So now it's just down to Bird. See, if you want, Tato could come around that corner and just get the reset easily. But he's actually out in the courtyard along with the rest of the tanks. Bird doing what he can to block them. Type 5s can't really do anything about that. E3 still up on the overwatch position as well. And now 10 seconds on the cap. Bird really needs to be the hero right now and try to screen this cap. Giggles is going to come around. 5 seconds. He's going to line up the shot. Aggressor's actually going to kill Pupil in the 50B. They get the reset, though, but the tank already down for M60s. 2,000 HP up. Bird is now taking position in the courtyard. He's going to start making them figure out where they have to go, and the Type 5s are going to rotate down. It's going to leave aquatic M60s in a very awkward spot as Felix is trying to unload his clip onto Bird. But now Alaputin and Aggressor both down here. They should be able to get shots off. Once again, that Type 5 can just fire anywhere at the 5A, gets 634 damage, doesn't even have to hit a weak spot. Bird's going to push around. He's going to try to find the kill shot. Doesn't get it, but MacTap is able to pick it up. One other side note, we didn't talk before the game. Gurgel actually just moving himself to the bench to let MacTap get in the starting lineup. So it's good to see him back in playing. HP still in favor of Dare Rising right now. M60s, really aggressive 5-line control.
Pay attention to that. Nationwide has been out of the fight for a little while, having trouble actually supporting. That's going to give Aquatic a little room in this fight. Now, very much, do you feel that this fight's right now quite securely Dare? Or do you think Aquatic is going to be able to claw their way back? Right now I'm seeing that this looks like a Dare-sided match, but now that things have slowed down.
Look at how much control they have of this cap now. Marsh is the only tank in this mouse that can get these resets. The rest of the guns are going to be too spread out. Mr. Man's going to come cruising up the 5-line as fast as he can to get into the fight. And it looks like MacTap's going to be in a world of hurt here as these two tanks are going to push up and over. But 1, 2, 3's in the background ready to punish. Let's see, he bounces his first shot. Marsh actually picks up Dark Ninja as well. Now Aggressor's in an awkward spot. He's almost loaded, but it's going to be 1, 2, 3 picks it up. Nationwide picks up the kill onto Marsh. Now it's going to be this Type 5 and E3. They have him boxed in. Nationwide going for the block. Type 5, another 700 damage. Nationwide's going to be reloaded here. Mr. Man just literally being bullied around right now. He can't do anything. He takes another massive shot, and the Type 5 should be able to finish him off here in just a second. But Aggressor's going to go down the other side. M60s are actually in control right now. Now they have Nationwide, who has full HP. He's trying to finish off Mr. Man. Harmless looking for the shot onto this 50B that comes around the corner. But he's not going to poke. And now, all of a sudden, I think Dare have done just enough. They picked up that tank. They evened it up.
And things are slowing down. Now, Nationwide.
Here's the problem. Look who's attacking right now. It's Dare. They have to get that cap pressure. They have to get both their tanks on. And M60s have to play the reset game perfectly.
Yeah, Mouse is sitting on 1,316 hit points. So, big problem here for Dare. Their Nationwide can't deal quite enough damage with Harmless. He's going to have to put 2 shells. And will Harmless actually, does Harmless think it's worth it to put his shell into a Mouse or to wait for Felix in the 50B? These are the things probably going through Dare's head right now, because that Mouse is going to show up first, right? That's Aquatic's deal. That's what they're going to do. Put the Mouse out there, find an angle for the 50B. So 50B Felix?
50B has to be the priority right now. He's the one, and it's not because he has the clip or anything, it's because he has the mobility. He can leave, and with this time, if they can get the reset, he can get out of the fight. The Type 5 and E3 can't catch them, so it's really going to be up to them to get that pick. Now, if Big Cheese can get the reset here on his own, then Felix can just run away and this game is over. Now, Type 5 is going to get the shot. The HE shot actually doesn't get the reset.
What?
HE always does damage. It does not do damage this time. Aggressor's going to try to cross, but now Nationwide...
Are you saying that HE lied?
But there comes a shot, but that's still... They can't... do it. And now they know that Felix is the one that has to win this out. They're going to try to back up, get safe from that mouse. Still do this. Another HE.
Armless is on fire!
On fire. Now this is over. Now Felix knows he can turn and run.
No. Nationwide can keep backing up.
Doesn't matter. He can't cap.
Oh, you're right.
The resets came in. That's 2 tanks. He can't do it. Felix can get away. This is over. This is the Aquatic M60s picking up the win.
Amazing.
Oh, he got spotted at the last second.
Nationwide's sitting there like, no, if only this was an E4.
Nope. And that is going to be Dare Rising dropping an offense on Himmelsdorf. Not too surprising since this map has really favored the defenders recently. A lot of the maps have been leaning towards the defenders this season.
Himmelsdorf recently, sir? I'd almost dare to say forever. It's been
always very true.
Yeah,
very true.
I think even before there were defense and offense on Himmelsdorf, it's kind of always been a little north-sided in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's the train station,
For a little while there, the offense definitely was able to get in there, especially at the north cap, with all the different ways to get those resets. We saw a lot of attacking teams really be able to get into it on Himmelsdorf. But yeah, so it's continuing on and looking at the damage there from M60s, not bad out of Big Cheese. He's been pretty quiet so far this season. We talked about him in the pre-show, but doing 4,600 damage, 3 kills. Felix, 3,500 damage. So overall, not bad there. 108 fantasy points for Big Cheese. Nationwide, 4K, 2 kills, so doing what he can. And Nationwide is Dare Rising's top fantasy point scorer on the season. So he's been playing exceptionally well this season, arguably better than in seasons past.
Although, mind you, with the increase in points, do remember that there are little inflations to watch out for in people's on the averages. So your average damage last season should be higher this season.
Fair enough. And looking at it, Harmless in Type 5, another 3,100. Bird, 2,600. Drops off after there. Aggressor, 24. Second page, nothing that catches your eye, really. A lot of tanks got focused out. Pupil in that 50B, unfortunately, ate 2 Type 5 shells back-to-back, and they were both penetrations, so nothing really to be said there.
Although that HE shell that didn't do damage was certainly a thing.
Yeah,
I feel like Karma just evened itself out and said, okay, HE doesn't deal damage, but we're going to give you a reset anyway.
Yeah, well, like later. He didn't get the first reset.
Yeah, but later.
You have to remember, it's only a 128 on the mouse there.
So only a 128?
Only a 128. When you have Type 5, I think there are 155s on there, 152s.
Yeah.
Rather large guns. The 128 seems small in comparison.
It's a very relative statement.
Yeah, exactly. I get your point.
Yeah.
Now, going on to this next game, Dare Rising, 4 mice, 2 Type 5s, and an E3. That's going to be a lot of HP, maybe the most HP we've seen this season in North America. Then Aquatic M60s, 2 50Bs, an IS-7, 2 mice, a 5A, and a bat chat. So once again, Mr. Man playing that bat chat. Wasn't really able to be effective last game, but we'll have to see if he's able to get in there. And that's going to be almost 20,000 HP between 7 tanks.
That's a lot of HP.
A lot of HP.
Nope. There's not a lot that a light lineup would be able to do. In fact, I'm worried about this 50.
Well, they're starting off with 3,000 more HP than Aquatic M60s, and they're the defenders. That's a whole tier 10 essentially.
That's a lot. That is one heck of a lot because you got a bat chat, 250Bs, like just those 3 tanks right there. I'm worried about their ability to perform because as you and I are very familiar with, when you run up on a mouse with an autoloader, you might pen all of your shots. That would be amazing, but you also might bounce half of them too.
Or all of them.
Or all of them.
Depending on how you play.
You know, I was going to try not to say it, but now it's out there, and, well, good luck, Aquatic.
The 2 mice pushing across the K line.
There's something ominous about the way that they're lining up right now. Just like the fact that it's out in the open, they don't...
That it's just a wall of super heavy just driving. It's actually looking for shots up the 5 line. And a lot of shots going off towards Pupil, but none of them getting the connection. Dark fires them off.
If only they'd zeroed the shots, they could have let them land.
Didn't think they were trade with them. Dark into his armor bouncing a couple. It's one of those things you can't necessarily blame them for letting that off. It's one of those shots where you're like, well, is he going to sit there for this long? At this level of play, you're going, no, he's not going to sit there for that long. I need to fire as fast as I possibly can.
It makes perfect sense. Of course, then there's the moment when he says, guys, they won't be aiming. They'll assume I'm going to leave because I'm not, foolish.
That's another level of mind games, though, to even think about.
The meta. Yep. It just keeps layering it on, man. That's how it is in NA. Everything is meta. And then meta. So
these 2 mice is going to be shutting down this North Cap.
What? This is okay. Is this
now? Remember how I was talking about how I thought the meta was going to be really one line out of both these teams. Look at there. They really don't. I mean, they care about it, but it's only an E3 and a mice and a Type 5, and they're not even in the normal positions right now.
James, if we thought the defense on mines was old.
Oh yeah, no. This is back to the 742 days. You used to leave 5100s back at 8-2. You have your T1 somewhere in the train station, another one watching, over towards the 8 line somewhere, maybe up on the hill. Spice 3's at A4, maybe one on the corner at B3, just all turtled up there. Everyone can get a crossfire. Throws back a lot of memories.
Yep. And then what's most important for me is seeing Dark Ninja in 1-2-3's positions. Those are the most important, because almost no one decides that it's worth any effort to put tanks automatically on this back line.
I remember the first time we saw this sort of position was actually at the season finals, where I believe it was Noble just parked a Oho on the corner there just to block them from being able to even move it or put any cap pressure on that top corner.
Well, that's right. It goes back before then too, where it was really common in Clan Wars.
Well, actually, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure it was Marsh when he was playing with Noble was in that strat and just sat there and just deleted like a 5100 that came around the corner. And then he ended up dying, but then the other team can't cap. They can't get their tanks onto the cap in that corner, and none of them out one of the Japanese heavies. Now, Mr. Man does take a shot there from Nationwide. Just getting a little bit too exposed. Now he's just going to use the silhouette of the building to drive away and right towards people because he's so focused at not getting shot again.
Which, mind you, we're watching Mr. Man's POV, so you were seeing exactly how he saw the situation unfold.
So, the little trick here that Mr. Man's doing is he has his gun pointed towards their opponent, but he's turned his tank the other way. He's holding his right mouse button, so he keeps his FOV locked on that, but still drives as fast as he can. And not really. Sometimes you can't always pay attention to what's in front of you, and almost got blocked by people. It would have been hilarious if they ran into each other, because that could have done some significant damage to both of them.
That could. Ooh. Marsh giving a little broadside here as he's going to get out of the south. This says that we're going to see more north cap pressure. And what do you think of that playing into possibly...
Well, they've done what they can. They have the pupil, the 50B, over here at G1. And if he plays this right, he can get towards that E1 corner and whatnot, and he can just crank out damage towards any tanks rotating towards the north. And so what it looks like Aquatic AM60s are getting ready to do now is pull the rest of their tanks towards that cap on the north and start the cap pressure. Remember how I said that I always felt the trick to this map is making tanks move. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to get cap pressure going somewhere to make these tanks rotate back and forth. I don't think they realize exactly how dug in Dare is on the north cap, though.
Yeah. Let's review real quick, just as a little refresher. You've got standard defense mouse, and then you've got two other mouse at angles that make it somewhat difficult to approach the entire zone. And so really the only blind spot that remains, and here's an example of why it won't really last you, is you might hope for a window to cross into the backfield and maybe something will happen. But the minute you do, there's an angle. Type 5s can back up and fire at any tank that puts himself in the wrong position up far north. So the crossfires that exist for this defensive position out of Dare are pretty solid. Very difficult to break. You're depending on player mistakes, or rather taking advantage of the element of surprise to hopefully force an error and take advantage, maybe kill an E3.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to move their tanks across the courtyard now. Get positioned up along that D line, maybe try to find some way to get the cap pressures. Mr. Man's going to move straight up the 8 line. But once again, I don't think they're going to expect this many tanks this committed to this north cap. I think Aquatic M60s are kind of misjudging exactly where these tanks are, and that may come down to just lack of intel.
They don't have the intel because of how conservative this defense is from Dare. Because of just how far back that they've decided to go. They haven't really given out much info at all. And that's why this is such a weird strat probably to see, is because you're much more used to teams putting up a little bit more eyes, a few more eyes, more sentries, watching the correct corners, maybe even having a more active scout in a bat chat. But as you might be able to notice, there's no bat chat on the north.
Now these mice in the 5 line are going to get spotted by the mouse of Harmless just side scraping that corner. Dark Ninja does get spotted up in that top position, and Aggressor gets a nice shot off there for 551.
play. Now shots going back and forth.
But here's where people can come into play. That E3, he can't move without people having shots. He is spotted now, so they know he's there. So now they have to worry about it. So they can't pull all their tanks into this fight. So this is, Aquatic M60s doing what they can to ask questions of Dare.
Yep, let's see how Dare answers the far north. 1, 2, 3 Dark Ninja squaring off against 3 tanks. Doesn't feel too good. Oh, look.
5A just driving straight in there.
He knows. He knows what's up. This is a completely open angle right now. No one's actually guarding it. Not yet.
They don't know what back tap is. He's going to find back tap. Taking damage. He's going to get caught out.
Yep. This timing's not good.
You can hear the Jaws theme song playing right now.
Done.
That's all we get and done.
Yep. Although he's just going to keep going. He's deciding, I don't really care. I'm just going to create a bunch of chaos because there's the push. Look, the other
everyone else is going to commit, but they're already down. Up 10,000 HP.
But that might have actually blocked the entire pathway into the east cap.
But there's still 2 mice and 2 Type 5s they have to deal with. The mice up in the north beside scraping perfectly. Mr. Man's going to be out of shots here soon. They do end up taking them both down. Field Potato goes down.
Marsh is on fire.
Marsh is on fire because HE shells out of that Type 5 turret. Set the engine on fire right below it. And GG, and they're going to be reloaded here in a second to put him out of his misery. And 3 tanks left alive for Aquatic M60s. 9,000 HP lead in favor of Dare.
Yep, and Felix is going to see what he can do. 627 damage from a Type 5. It's generally why French tanks and, well, their tanks don't mix. No, they don't. POV of him, just trying to hold on, see what he can do. Yes, Type 5 is down. No, E3. Oh, surprise! Hey, that's nationwide.
Nationwide shows up when you need him. Mr. Man, just the last tank alive, trying to get some damage. Only done 1,500 so far this day. He's had some really strong matches, especially his last match day against 07. Nice so far in Himmelsdorf, at least, really struggling to have the same sort of performance.
And, well, he'll be on reload, running away. And there we go. Type 5 shell
nice
right through a window.
Yeah, tight angle. So that's going to be it. That is going to be a 1-to-1 series right now. Now, I don't even know that we can really do justice just breaking that one down.
Because that was weird.
19,000 HP. Like, that is, especially with the lineup that Dare brought, that is just so hard to break with 250Bs and a bat chat. I mean, the other tanks I don't disagree with.
Maybe I can clarify then. So is it your opinion that this was due to lineup more than it was due to strategy, individual player skill, all that?
I think the lineup didn't help. I think the strategy out of M60s may have been different and worked better if they tried. See, I don't even want to say that, though, because looking at that, it's just one of those puzzles where you just kind of look at it and you go, well, what do we do? Like, that's a thing.
It's like when...
Like, I want to criticize M60s, but at the same side, like, I totally understand that that is not an easy thing to do by any stretch of the imagination.
Mm-hmm. So then why would they have tried this strat in the first place?
Well, we'll get to that in just a second. I want to go over the damage score.
Fair. No, that's totally fair.
Type 5, Aggressor, almost 4K damage, 71 fantasy points. Dark Ninja doing another 3K. So overall, pretty strong performances out of the Super Heavies, E3, 2,300, MacTap, 2,100, Marsh, top damage dealer 4. Aquatic M60s, 1, 2, 3, 2K, 40 fantasy points. Mr. Man doing what he can, but after that, pretty much drops off. A lot of tanks, 3 of them for Aquatic M60s, below 1,000 damage, which isn't something you like to see.
They got deleted, man.
They got deleted. Yeah. And the one thing, too, note, though, Bird actually picking up 3 kills. Not doing a lot of damage, but picking up the kills where he can, especially that one at the end there. But anyways, my point is this, is when you see that out of your opponent, you see that sort of lineup, you know that's going to be a lot of HP to chew through. And the only thing you can really try is to get them to move around. But the thing to look at, though, is the way that that Dare set up, they took away one of those caps. They didn't even make it an option for them to kind of kite them out. They said, hey, you have to come get this cap. You can't do it because we have 3 mice sitting on a Type 5. Over on the other cap, we have a hold down E3 and 2 mice covering them. So it's really difficult, but I think they need to go back to the drawing board to that offense and maybe look at just some sort of brawl strat, I think, is maybe the better option. Some sort of massive push, abuse the lack of DPM out of the Type 5s. We go on to the next battle. It is going to be round 3. Dare Rising coming in with -7, 2 5As, Patton, 2 batch shots, and then an SCRV. M60s on their hand coming in here with a mouse, -4, or -7, excuse me. 4 Batchats and an STRV 103B of their own.
And then opening moves as we head into game. We're going to see a nice passive position for Feel My Potato and Giggle. Purpose of this, of course, is to wait for a rush, which doesn't seem to be coming exactly, but Marsh taking a little damage on his opening scout run. Looks like that was from possibly Matchday.
I like this out of Dare. If you look at the setup, let's go ahead and pull up the mini-map here real quick, just something I want to point out.
Yeah.
So the main reset angle on this cap, there's 2 of them. You have this position here, and then you have this whole lane right here. It has clean shots across those buildings. Look at this, though. The Batchats 5A are going to be able to light this. So instead of being able to get the reset shot through this angle, they're taking that away, and they have the Sturv, the Patton, and then this 5A blocking this. So what do you do as the defender here? You push in this way, and all of a sudden you're going to have the Sturv and the Patton farming you. If you try to come in up this side, you're going to have all these tanks ready to just do damage.
All right, well, let's see what ends up happening there. IS-7 able to take fire from Master Poop. And cap has started. Let's go ahead and check out who's on the cap, shall we?
So we burn the I-7. He's just going to do what he can. He's going to focus on not being reset by Felix. He's not going to worry about the town. He's going to have the town rely on Nationwide and those Batchats to really hold that down. And this is what they're looking for. These 3 Batchats in this group pushing through, clearing the forest. Now, the other thing to keep an eye on is the time. There's only 1 tank on cap right now. Has the cap almost at 40 seconds. If that 5A decides to move forward and get on cap, that's going to make things a lot harder for Aquatic AM60s and really step up the clock on them.
Yep. And also, Nationwide out here in the flank. Now, I have a question about this. Is he going to be the one that triggers a reaction, and is he probably going to be the one that takes the first engagement?
Well, in his position right now, if these Batchats come up like they do, then absolutely. Now, the Batchats behind may get vision on them first, depending on the pathing of M60s. And Felix actually takes a shot of damage from the Sturv in the back. And he's actually not running a fire extinguisher. Keep an eye on that there. That I-7 can burn quite easily if you don't get hit in the front.
Yep, and now looks like we're going to jump
now
into that
he's
engagement.
Here, time. 2 tanks on cap, 10 seconds. They find a reset. No one's in position. And they're so busy dealing with Nationwide and these Batchats. I don't know that they're going to be able to get a reset. And the first tank focused out. Great stuff there from M60s. Pupil, it's off to him. Doesn't get the reset. Oh, at the last second, he gets the reset, but Pupil's been punished for it.
Yep, Pupil's trying to get out, but not going to be able to. Not this time. Push moving forward. Bird still on the cap with backup. Although, look at that. Look at where Mr. Man is. He is in the backfield trying to get into position.
Giggle's trying to get some more shots off, and now this Mouse and I-7 coming around. HP's still in favor of M60s. Patton and the Sturv in the backfield. It looks like they're going to choose an ammo rack.
It didn't matter. He was dead anyway. And now it's a 2v1, and Mr. Man is rushing to get back into the fight. That is not good right now. Aquatic is down on tanks, hit points, guns, everything.
But the Sturv and Patton coming straight up over the top to help out with Big Cheese, and they know that Mr. Man isn't too far behind. So this is going to turn into one big brawl. Bird making the heads-up play, trying to use the Mouse to screen from that STRV. Now that that's not an option, he's just going to push under the ridge, try to get underneath. They need to hurry up and finish off Big Cheese, though. Bird looking for the shot. The rest is going to come around. Not going to be needed, though. And now MacTap's going to set up, try to find shots onto Mr. Man, and that should be all she wrote.
Well, there you go. There's a nice pickup by Dare. They just set up strong positions. They knew what
pretty much like I broke down. It played out. They came into the forest. The trap was set. And even though they ended up getting the reset at the last second, which arguably that could have been won right then and there, that was a split second, as they pushed them around and flip over Mr. Man.
Style points. Nicely done. And Dare's able to actually, you can tell everyone's having a little bit of a laugh at the end there.
Yeah. Now, like I said, they set that trap perfectly. And so first that could have ended with the cap. That was a split second reset. So arguably luck that reset came in.
Yep.
And then the second part of that was even after that, look at how much they bled to get that reset. That was 2 full Batchats that went down with virtually no HP traded.
Yeah, and Pupil was the one who got that big reset for 87 cap
The only
points.
shot he fired that game was that reset that still kept them in that game.
Wow, I didn't even notice that part. He fired once, and that was all he got to do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a worthwhile thing to do.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
Dare just focused him out. And looking at the lineup, damage here, 1, 2, 3, top damage, 3,200, 2 kills, 80 fantasy points. Bird, another strong performance out of him, 3K, 2 kills, 73. Aggressor and that Patton really making it work, 2,800, 3 kills. And then Big Cheese, top damage dealer for M60s. Big Cheese has really stepped into his own so far this match. He's had some very good performances for M60s. Needs to keep it up. Mr. Man doing what he can in the STRV, only 2K. Dark Ninja, 1,500, and everyone else below 1,000 there, really getting punished, especially those batch outs at the bottom, Pupil, Marsh, and then Felix, not really able to get into that fight. And then Nationwide, the tank we were talking about being the one that triggered, he was the first one that came across, so obviously he got focused down first. Yeah. However, that was part of the plan. It was, hey, here's a tank, we're going to make sure that we spot you, that we do damage, and overall, you know, can't really blame him.
Yeah, so now we're just going to flip sides. This is going to be battle number 4, and if Dare wins this next one, which it looks like they'll be taking on defense side, right? Of course.
Yeah. Flipping sides.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it stands to reason. Dare versus Aquatic M60s here. If they take a 3rd win in a row, I'm really feeling like this is going to close out as a 5-1, based on that kind of. You saw how kind of fun and playful the end of the last battle was.
Yeah.
I feel like
the
if
next
they keep
map
that
is going to be after Burrow?
I can check on that in just a minute.
All right. So lineups coming in here as we head into battle number 4. Dare Rising, a Kronwagen, 2 5As, 3 Batchats, and a T100 light tank. Aquatic M60s, a Mouse, 2 5As, 3 Batchats, and an STRV. So once again, Mr. Man going with that STRV. However, they are attacking this time, so we'll have to see how they use it. I would assume over on the 1 or 3 line, but who knows? Maybe we'll see something different. Overall, though, what do you make of Dare's lineup? The Kronwagen, the 5As, Batchats.
Does that say that says Forest, right? That says going that side, or perhaps just actually I hate to say it, but standard defense almost. Like
T100 for the passive, the Kron to hold the corner.
Just like same thing, just maybe a few different tanks than what are always brought. It's not a bad choice. The Kronwagen's great in a hold down. No one can deny that. I mean, I'm not a fan of the damage output because while it is an autoloader, it kind of does have lower DPM than I'd like
Now
to
look
see.
at this out of M60s. They're worried about that forest push again. We saw it on the last match day versus 07, so they're setting up really deep in the forest, making sure that that push isn't going to come out. And while I appreciate the thoroughness, what this is going to do is it's really going to burn some time. This is going to take away a few minutes they could be using to do something else with some more aggressive lights. Excuse me.
A little lag right there.
Yeah. That's one way to put it.
You actually sound like you just lagged out. Marsh is going to be the forward scout. Batchat's staying back, but lightly armored. They can't really deal with as much, and we shall see if that's going to be the play. But of course, Aquatic will realize what's going on soon. There's nothing.
All their tanks over here towards the forest, including the Mouse and the 5As. One of the 5As is actually leading the charge for M60s. They're up this time by about 1,300 HP over Dare Rising.
We'll see. And stay in the low ground on the push. Don't go through the where Felix is going in mass. If you do that, you get caught out. Staying on the low ground gives you a wider, safer angle, and the crossfires are probably beyond your tanks if you stick to this background. Following up with the Sturv. Now, one thing to watch out for is you don't want to get too far into these bats, because if you round the corner where Marsh is and your Sturv isn't in position to support, it could get awkward. Now, of course, we can't show you anything about that right now, but just a point to make for those of you watching it out, maybe wondering what's going on with them. In the meantime,
are we going to see the STRV on cap?
That's not a bad choice. I mean, here, we should probably check and see if he brought a camo net. There's a camo net, and there's binos. So yeah, I'm going to just jump on his POV for a minute. Seeing this blind fire? You know what's happening, right?
Right at the bush where Dark Ninja is.
Yep.
They haven't gotten the hits yet, though.
That's what we're going to watch for real quick. We're turning lasers on so we can see angles players are watching. And right now, there's blind fire going. There's so many lines. Just unload, guys. Just unload. Everything's going like right over his head. Because the T100 is
small?
So tiny. No one's looking at him anymore.
T100's like the 416 had a baby with an Object 140.
Oh, God. I would hate that.
Just extremely low profile tank.
You're like, how do people sit in you? Do you just lie down? Is it just...
It's not a tank made for tall people, I'll say that much.
So you wouldn't fit?
No, neither would the Chieftain.
Oh, poor Chieftain. He fits into so many tanks that weren't meant for people his size.
Certainly a skill that he's picked up.
He's so tall. And then he wears a hat and he's taller.
And right now,
Anyway.
they're just holding on. Dare haven't really had to move anything. 4 minutes gone basically at this point. Not a whole, M60s needs to try to.
Felix is taking damage. Look.
It's a shot.
Oh, I should probably turn the lasers off. I left the lasers on for too long. If that doesn't tell you anything, that's what's looking at him. That's why you don't peek.
And that's why he took a shot of damage.
Yep. Because that's what's looking at you, buddy.
Good luck. They still haven't figured out where that T100 is. They've spent a lot of time blind firing. The batch hats aren't being clipped right now even. But so far, no connections, even though they're going right over the head of Dark Ninja.
They know he's probably there. They just don't realize how short the tank is. They're even actually putting cross shots. Like, look at where Marsh is about to fire. Let's see. Marsh might. Nope. Marsh is aiming too high, just a little bit, and it actually hit dirt. Okay. If you guys don't realize by now, this is why T100's awesome. Because even when everyone's aiming at you, they're still aiming too high. They can't help it. I'm not saying it's Aquatic's fault here. They're trying, but jeez. This.
How to waste a lot of time 101.
Yep. That's what we're going to do. Although I remember in 742 when this used to happen, that we'd see those methodical, like, just
But you have the IS-3s and the 5100s. Just roll forward. All right, blind fire this. Move on.
Feel my potatoes just... It seems like he's frustrated now, just waving around his turret. Oh, Dark Ninja's moving. Oh, he's sneaky. Did you see that? He might have just barely avoided the shot. And this is the only focus right now.
Remember, T100s, light tanks, they don't lose their camo when they move. They only lose their camo when they fire. So unless he's running a camo net, he's not going to lose any of that camo value.
Yep. Pupil takes a shell.
He's trying to figure it out. He doesn't know where he's going to be spotted from. He's trying to play the corner. What People's trying to do there is he's trying to back up just a little bit, stick his tank around, and then pull forward. And so what he can do is by checking the angles, he can figure out where they're sitting.
Exactly.
So he's spotted right now. So what he's doing is he's waiting to get unlit. So 6 seconds after the time of contact is when you're unlit. So now that the pulp's gone, we'll probably see him back up again, try to figure out what bush they're sitting in. Now this is a little bit risky because that's 6 minutes. So he's going to pull forward.
Get
But
spotted.
it looks like he's going to look for shots this time instead. Oh. And there comes a shot.
There's your first hit. Let's see if anybody's noticed. This is actually the real question. Has anyone noticed? I think Pupil knows what the angle is. There's a second shot. Dark Ninja is out in the open. And
Dark Ninja
he runs into a building.
Where he's driving.
Come on, Dark Ninja. Although he's not spotted, I'll point this one out. No one knows he's there at all.
No one knows he's left. And so with 3.5 minutes left, how much longer do you spend trying to blind fire a scout tank?
Probably no more time at all because you're 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
They have to get that cap pressure going, and they don't know where he's sitting right now.
How long does it take for a mouse to get to the number 2 cap?
He's gone.
Exactly. Okay, so what's he going to do?
He just has to just try to help support. Maybe 3 tanks on cap is pretty much all M60s can really do at this point. They don't have time to play this slow. 1 reset and they're done.
Pretty much. And here we are, on to the cap.
But now look at this. All you have to do is let the cap get down to above half, and then
Reset.
Dark Ninja can just drive in at full speed, and all the guns will be ready to pretty much obliterate what's on cap.
Mm-hmm. There's a little blind fire coming from Master Putin. Dark Ninja's on his way in to see if he can spot the cap. Or maybe wait a minute and then spot the cap. Bat Chat's getting into position. You see Harmless farthest up the north. We've got Aggressor. It looks like he's going to play kind of mid, so main guy. And then 1, 2, 3, getting himself into position. Looks like they're going to move directly east and then sweep south. Depending on, do you think they'll go through the forest or they'll just cut short of this?
Well, I don't know if they're going to. I think they're just making sure that they're not being baited into a trap. That top end's clear, and now they're going to come through the forest. It does look like, or not through the forest, but through the town.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like Dare's about to pull the trigger on all sides.
Yeah, they playing the clock. They know they have another minute before the cap's done. Now, what I expect to happen here at M60s is one of the batch heads in the backfield to pull forward and get on cap and really speed things up, which is why they aren't wasting any time right now. They're making sure they make those rotations, and they're all closing. And they know that they have this on the bag, and that T100's not terrible position. He's actually going to push in and draw all the fire. I was thinking he was going to run away from the fight just to be that safety ticket, but the rest of the tanks are going to push in right now. Pupil's going to be the first one they catch out, and look at these angles they're playing. The rest of the guns can't really support them as they're going to take down Pupil. Keep an eye on that cap, though. 2 on, 13 seconds. They do spot one of them.
Although, look, 123 is about to go down to his bat. Not quite, though.
Needs to get the resets. Resets needs to be the focus. And all these tanks are leaving cap, except for the STRV. He's still on cap. They have not found him. Nationwide just driving forward. 6 seconds, 4 seconds. They need to find it. Now they spot him. Are any of them loaded, though? There comes the reset. Now they can still actually get a cap. They need a couple more resets. There goes one tank. Aggressor ends up taking down Felix. Or Felix ends up taking down Aggressor. But now look at this. Look at the bat shots in the north. They're leaving. They know that they can't cap anymore. They know that they have their only option is to try to kill everyone left on Dare. But they're going to be able to escape a couple tanks. 6 seconds left. I don't know that they're going to have time to chase them down on all sides of the map.
Possibly not. That's breaking away. Master Putin's going to try and live. Marsh is up against him. Is there any real support side on him? Looks like he actually loaded now. Maybe second fire instead onto Giggles in the backjack. Nicely played.
And this is going to be Dare closing this one out. AM60s wasting arguably too much time trying to find that light tank and not really having much of a plan B. And Dare knew exactly what they wanted to do. They played this right. This was exactly what this strat is made for. Slow your opponent down, make them waste a bunch of time trying to find your light tank. And when they do that, then it's just get a couple resets and burn the clock down.
Yep, prepare for the next step. You know what your opponent's already going to do. If you're attacking southeast, you're going to try and hide something on cap. That's just the way it works.
Yep, and that's going to be AM60s dropping another round. Dare Rising making it 3-1.
There we go. So, putting another point on the board for them. Let's take a look at some of those post-game stats and break down the high performers. We got Marsh.
The one thing I want to go through real quick for M60s, we have it up. Shots fired this game, because I think this is going to be an amusing stat. Marsh, 28 fired, 10 hits. Felix, 19 fired, 5 hits. Big Cheese, only firing 7, 4 hits.
He was in the forest. It was kind of hard to shoot
The Sturve,
anything.
21 shots fired,
Wow.
6 hits. Pupil, 12 fired, 3 hits. 20 fired, 6 hits for Giggles. And 19 fired and 1 hit for Poor Little Feel My Potato. So obviously, a lot of shots wasted on blind fire. Marsh, top damage dealer in that 5A, 3100, playing that south corner down there. 72 fantasy points, 1, 2, 3. Once again, top fantasy point score for Dare Rising. Felix, another 2300. Bird in the Kronwagen, getting off a little over 1 clip. Big Cheese, getting a few connections there late, but he could. I liked his positioning, but at the same end, you could have gotten him a little bit further south. Maybe had his gun help out with the blind fire, an extra gun, firing off shots. Yeah, maybe something to look at.
Note this as well. I've just been told we have Aquatic M60s calling a timeout. Their timeout is just about over. It was happening while we were going over those post-game stats, and because of that, a little extra time for Aquatic to maybe collect themselves before we go into
what could be our last map.
What could be.
Is Cliff. It's going to be up next.
Yep. We will be starting with the defenders, Dare. Attacking will be Aquatic. Now, let's see, no changes on the roster from Aquatic. So it looks like they just needed a moment to collect themselves, get things in order, and say, all right, we've just lost 3 in a row. This could be the final map. Aquatic has in the past performed admirably on Cliff of all maps.
Absolutely.
And so if this map is the map to come back on.
They've also struggled on it a little bit, I will say. There have been some kinks.
So it's been a very up and down, you think?
Yeah, I kind of remember the F7 match. They had a few games they dropped that were they looked really poor. But in seasons past, they've had some very strong games on Cliff. Now, just the same. Yes. They've also had some very strong games on Mines. They had a very impressive record on Mines a couple seasons ago, and that's kind of gone away. So it's kind of hard to look at season-ago stats on these maps. This season, they're sitting middle of the road, just above 50%.
Yeah, so things have certainly changed for them, and they're adjusting to that. Yeah. And if I know Aquatic, which I will find out now after this bet, they should do fairly well on Cliff. I think they'll stay in this, at least 1 win on Cliff.
The lineup's coming in here. M60s, a Type 5, 2 5As, 3 Batchets, and a Panzerwagen. They're 2 5As, 3 Batchets, a 140, and an STRV. Nothing too surprising there on the defense. 140, a little bit different for Dare, but nothing crazy.
I have
consistent fire mixed in there. I'm not opposed. But the Type 5 is where I kind of question things.
Type 5? Because it's big, slow, and shoots HE. I mean, it's the anti-Batchat.
But it's also a very slow tank that's going to struggle to move around on a very open map.
This is fair. I'm not going to disagree with that. But what happens if you just stick it right in the middle or on the hill? What, can you get to the lighthouse with a Type 5? I've never tried.
Anything is possible, Randall.
I've just realized I've never...
You want to try it is another question.
Well, I've never entertained the thought. I just realized until this exact moment, I had never even entertained the thought of putting a Type 5
up the traditional path, I'm sure.
I mean, the gun depression isn't that bad, is it? It's not bad.
Not awful.
It's okay.
Turret armor's strong. I mean, it's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
It's also a decent platform.
But also time, though. How long is it going to take to climb that mouse up that cliff, or that Type 5 up that cliff? It hasn't even gotten to the middle of the map, and a minute's gone.
Yeah, but, you know, that's why we're here, James. We're here to talk about, you know, what could happen, the potential of these players and these teams and these tanks, you know? What can they do? Not just what they've been limited to by our limited imaginations. The Type 5 has endless possibilities. Just look at it. God, that's awful.
Beauty's what's on the inside, Randall.
Well, how many crew members are inside a Type 5?
A lot of them.
Makes me miss the Tog.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yes. Oh, lesson time. Bird. Thank you. So cool. Okay. This was going to be kind of slow for a minute, but now we've got something to talk about. Look at this. This is how you cut down trees with HE. So, if you want to maybe do a little terraforming while you've got a minute or two because your opponent is playing very slowly, you can decide to make your time useful, bring some HE, and just shoot at the bottom of the tree. If you get the HE shell close enough to just the trunk, I mean to the roots, you know, whatever, you're just going to cut over. See, 1, 2, 3, you guys get it. I don't think that needs much. That's pretty straightforward stuff.
Now, is that really going to add anything?
Yes, you got a tree that was standing, giving a camo value to that, and now it's fallen.
Which still gives camo.
Yeah, but now it's different spot, like it's in a different place. See, where it was like a tree, because, I mean, there are no actual simpler examples than it's a tree. You can't see through them. I mean, like, I'm sorry, I'm lost. I'm sorry. Back.
Okay, Randall.
It's not standing up. It's laying down.
Back to the retirement home, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Okay. All right.
Let's go ahead and check in on the Type 5, which we've kind of ignored. And where did that go?
What do you want, a Type 5?
Type 5, and he's towards the hill right now.
Here.
No.
6?
No.
It's fine. Yeah.
No.
He's going to climb. Is he going to climb? No. What are you saying no to? What's wrong with this move? I mean, yes.
He's trying to boost a Type 5 is what's wrong.
There's nothing wrong with that. Wait, was I right? James? Where are you going, James? Come back here. No, seriously, James, I can't do this without you. I really need you, buddy.
I don't know anything anymore.
See, welcome to World of Tanks, where eventually everything you know and about reality will be shattered. It's just what happens, and you got to give it to Aquatic for shattering your sense of reality. So take a moment, collect yourself, because you're watching a Type 5 climb backwards up a hill.
Today I learned.
You go, Mr. Man. I could watch this for years. Seriously. Let's just enjoy the moment.
Now the question is what practical can come out of this? They're already burned 4 minutes getting them halfway up the hill. It's going to take another minute to get to the top.
All right, James, I'll recap for you. So, it is tall. The turret is hard. The rest of it is also well armored. It may be slow, but HE always deals damage.
I just want to know what Dare are going to see when this tank is spotted on top of the hill. Like, truly, they're just going to see a Type 5 just appear on top of the hill.
You know, that's a very good question to ask later.
You know, they're just going to go, what? You know, they were talking about being surprised on the last match day. But this is a whole nother level.
He's almost there. Also, I want to point something out. Almost nothing else has happened yet this battle.
Really, nothing has. I mean, we've
Like-
been sitting here watching Type 5. That's because nothing else has happened.
Yeah, like this is.
We've watched Bird shoot down trees.
Thank you, Bird. Actually, by the way,
And-
shout out to Bird.
And a Type 5 climb to the top of the hill. Backwards.
Now backwards. Now forwards, though. He's changed direction. So, all right, the moment of
now-
truth, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like the 5As have decided to push the low ground, while Mr. Man majestically goes. Wait, is he gonna stop? Okay, he's gonna stop. He's looking for something way back. He fires blind shot. Nothing. He takes 365 to the face, and all right. So Bat Chat's on the high ground next to a Type 5, while 5As take the low ground and pressure aggressor. I think. Oh, so Mr. Man is bouncing shells. Look at this. This is working. It's working.
We're just gonna allow a shot.
He doesn't know where that tank is. That's the problem here. So I'm going to show
There's
you
two
where-
tanks up there now.
Oh,
Dark
let's-
Ninja as well.
Let's look at the low ground real quick. So Marsh
Well,
wants-
Marsh is actually taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, he's in a bad way. He's in a bad way. So he'll just try and do his thing for a little bit. Also, Giggles is on fire and dying. That didn't work. We'll return to the Type 5. So, HE again.
Not gonna be a connection.
Not quite the connection. It's
And he's
okay.
tracked.
Next time, once we
And now he's
reload.
perma-tracked by an STRV.
He can reload, maybe.
But he doesn't know where he is.
I mean,
And
he's
he's
got,
tracked
he's
again.
got an idea, but he's also guessing the wrong spot. So we need to show. Fine. So Bird's chilling out there. Gets a kill on the Marsh. Nicely played.
Making that Russian medium work in that middle little hole down ridge. Pretty much what it's brought for, just the gun depression, charred armor. Plays out a little, it's like it's designed for that bull. It really does. It's putting out a lot of damage,
Yeah.
really hard to kill. You wanna know what's not made for what it's doing is the Type 5 on top of the hill.
Oh yeah, how's he doing?
He's still firing off shots, hasn't got a connection yet.
Dealt no damage yet this game. Well,
You can't blame him for trying.
doesn't work every time. And we're gonna that 103 right here. HE's just barely missing. Oh, that was closer. That was a lot closer. Feel my potato. Almost down, out in the open, goes down. Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Felix is safe. Pupil is
Gonna go down here in a second.
what? Man, Type 5, out in the open, up top.
He actually has something to shoot out. Spotted now. Doesn't get the connection.
Alright, let's see. Felix. Facing off against the. Alright, there he goes. And shortly. Okay, this has been beautiful, Jim. This is possibly like.
I mean,
This is the best.
the creativity scale, I mean, yeah, that's a win for M60s, 10 out of 10, but execution, you know, just
I thought I was
fell
joking.
flat in his face.
I thought I was joking. No way that anyone would actually do the Type 5 thing. Turns out, this is a thing. It's gonna become a thing. Yep. There you go. Finally got it.
I don't know. I just don't.
Oh,
And they chase down after.
there we go. Just
Aquatic going for a swim.
Dare showing that they can swim too. And
Yeah, but
that
no
was
M60s.
awesome. Because that was a Type 5 that just went backwards up onto the hill of mines. What are you gonna do? All right, let's look at the stats. Because it didn't work, guys. It was beautiful. It was funny. Everyone here in our production room was.
I wish we could have heard
loving
the
it.
comms today, because that would have been hilarious to listen to.
Zero. Are we on the? Yeah, we're on.
Yeah, back to Putin, 4K. A lot of that has to be the Type 5 on top of the hill that he farmed.
Let's go to page
80.
2. I think
Bird did put up a lot of fantasy points there. I will say that. But the real story of this battle is told on the second page.
Yes, it is. Harmless, yeah. Died without any damage, it's fine. That happens. Type 5 heavy. Fires 11 times. Direct hits nothing. Splash damage, apparently 2. But that, I guess that went directly into tracks. So it didn't even register on someone's actual hit points.
Well, that's how many tanks they splash, but that doesn't mean that it did damage. So he landed
it's-
shots close, maybe did some module damage, but
That's-
didn't,
yeah,
didn't do
tracks.
any damage.
Yeah. 12 hits received. 8 of those are pens. Bounced 4 shots. 1,500 mitigated by armor. Okay, that's okay, I guess. But really, that didn't work. And then in addition to that, Pupil and Giggles, they also died horribly. Rest in pieces. But that was certainly an entertaining match. That's
one word for
it. Did that wake
it.
you up a little bit?
It's one word for it.
Did that wake you up a little bit? That kind of woke me up. I was I was getting used to it, and I was like, okay, you know, Type 5, probably not going to do that interesting stuff. Okay, he decides to go backwards up a hill. We can work with this.
And now we're going to go on to battle number 6. Dare 1 round away from picking up the win. Bird coming in here into WZ5A along with MacTap. 4 bat chats and a Sheridan by 1, 2, 3.
The Sheridan's not crazy though. That's fine.
Yep, no Type 5s to be seen for Aquatic M60s. 2 5As, 3 bat chats, a 140, and an STRV.
Yep. And that Sheridan, I really feel like would have been the stronger alternative to walking a Type 5 backwards up a hill for literally about 5 minutes. By the way, that took 5 minutes of our lives to watch that.
Yeah,
that was what we watched for 5 minutes.
Type 5 climbing up a hill. All right, guys, we move on to this battle.
Imagine driving it.
Yeah, and to be fair, Mr. Man, he hit the climb perfectly. It's not an easy climb to do, but he did it in a Type 5 first time, so he obviously practiced it, which is, I don't know is necessarily a good thing, but all right. And anyways,
look,
M60's going towards the hill to start.
It shows they have a broad understanding of World of Tanks. It's like they get it. They really understand the possibilities and how absolutely flexible tanks are.
I mean, if that had worked and the Type 5 had like deleted 2 tanks, then I don't even know what to say right now. But regardless, didn't even work. Now we're going to see 140 go towards the hill. 5As on the 1 line, Batchat's pushing out towards the 9 line. Sheridan just chilling out in the middle.
Hey, look at that. There's that low ground attack. All right, so some classic low ground with the 5As. Nationwide to hold behind, and then a little bit of Batchat aggression on the east side. This to counter out the climbers.
And they are spotted.
Good job, Big Cheese. That's a good position. And right there,
shot.
Dark Ninja hesitates. Everyone else stays going forward, and that means Batchats are not all on the same page. Harmless turns around. Aggressor tries to aggress, and we need to see a decisive move here from Dare. Oh, there's a shot. Morphin taking another. Let's see. 1 more shell. There. Nice kill. All right. That's a good pickup by Dare. Giggle's also taking a lot of damage now. Looks like those 5As are peeking over into an Echo 3.
And Felix is just pushing in that 140. He's taking a lot of damage. These Batchats are reloading and have fired more shots than they have, but in turn ends up getting focused out, and now they're just leaving. Big Cheese does pick up the kill onto Aggressor, but the other 2 Batchats should get out without bleeding too much more HP.
Nice play.
So 2 tanks down, 4 Aquatic M60s, and they're down about 2,000 HP. They're in actually a pretty good position once they relocate, and Bird actually picks up the shot onto Giggles. Nice shot there.
Very well done. All right, so 5As that are left. Big Cheese out in the open. Mr. Man is kind of able to support. Kind of hard to tell. And then Marsh and Feel My Potato are rather hit. So this play, what it's done is taken the core, really, out of the position of that we're climbing the hill. There's nothing really to support Marsh or Feel My Potato or anything. That's everything on it.
Batchat Marsh doing what he can. One of the 5As goes down before he can kill the other. And now in the backfield, looks like the Batchat. That's not even Dark Ninja. Who is that? Yeah, the Batchat. It's going to be nationwide.
He's on the north side.
He's going to keep Mr. Man preoccupied for a little bit, and they're going to focus out. They just pushed up and over. I don't even think I've seen the Sheridan get a shot off this game. And they should be able to pick up Big Cheese here in a second, who's lost his driver and his track.
Out in the open. Nobody there.
He gets off 1 more shot, but he should go down here in a second. Doesn't actually, Batchat's reloading.
Master Putin's ammo rack is damaged, so he's actually going to reload a little slower than Big Cheese, although that bounce is going to save him. So he's lucky. Here's where the Sheridan is.
Nope, he's just going to look for a shot onto Mr. Man's back. Disturbed there. And trying to get off what damage he can. Not having the same match day as he did previously. That is going to be Dare Rising and sealing it 5-1 over Aquatic M60s. No surprise there. it looked like M60s kind of ran out of steam, I think, towards the end there.
A little bit, but also I think we have to give a lot of credit to Dare. They did the work that needed to be done. There was a strong opening play right from the west side, bring in 2 5As and a bat chat to crossfire on what used to just be a bat chat hit squad. There used to just be 3 bat chats that would go up the east side of the map and then try to kill the climbers. But we didn't always see the 5As coming from the west side. So there wasn't a crossfire that we had this time. Yeah.
No, I definitely agree. It was good support. And looking at it, look at how much Dark Ninja put up. That's almost 200 fantasy points in one game. That's absurd. Get out. 4,400 damage, 5 kills. Great game. Big Cheese, another 3K, 64 fantasy points. Harmless, 3K, 76 fantasy points. Drops off after there. No surprise. Moving on to the next page. Nationwide. All below 1,000 along with everyone else. Couple kills spread out. But
Morphic. Oh, man, he got torn up.
Poor Morphic. And 1, 2, 3 also not really able to get into the fight in that Sheridan.
Yeah, I think he just struggled to find his way into the fights every single time. It was a little strange to watch.
And we should have our post-match stats here in a second.
We shall.
Those are working now. So looking at the fantasy points, Big Cheese, 348. Aggressor, 338. Bird, 366. Rather strong night. MacTap, 268. And Dark Ninja, also 360, 1, 2, 3, 260. On the second page, poor Mr. Man, only 187 points tonight. That is rough for everyone that picked him, including myself. No real surprises there other than that. Poor Pupil and Feel My Potato also having rather rough match nights as well.
Yeah. So, with that, what are probably your final thoughts on this match?
I think M60s was trying to be creative, but ultimately I think they were just maybe a little bit out of their depth versus Terrorizing.